Hi there. Good morning to you. Welcome to Newsroom here on GHOne TV. We do apologize for the late start of the bulletin. My name is Mohammed. Coming up in this edition, the former Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, takes on what he calls dangerous tribal and religious propaganda by his fellow contenders in the NPP presidential race.
I'm very concerned and troubled that some of our presidential aspirants have embarked.
Also coming up, Chief of Staff Julius Deborah rallies support for NDC parliamentary candidate lawyer Bediako Bedu, assures chiefs and people of Akwetia that government will not disappoint them. Also in this bulletin, stolen vehicles on Ghana's roads as the Yoko sounds the alarm on a booming criminal trade, revealing close to 10,000 vehicles are smuggled into the country every year.
At least close to 9,000, 10,000 stolen vehicles arrive in Ghana.
And later in business, 3 strikes in a row as government misses its T-bills targets yet again. We'll bring you details. These and many more in the 60 Minutes Bulletin. Do stay tuned in. And beginning the bulletin, the West African Examination Council, WAEC, has expressed concern of the rise in cases of examination malpractice during the Basic Education Certificate Examination, BECE. This comes after the council cancelled the entire results of 177 candidates for violating examination regulations. In total, 895 results were cancelled, while 1,333 results have been withheld pending further investigation. Speaking with my colleague Nadide Tete on the Morning Star, WAEC's head of public affairs, John Kapi, revealed that the possession of prohibited items, particularly mobile phones, was alarmingly widespread during the exam. Now, a team from the West African Examination Council has seized the mobile phone of an invigilator at Forces Senior High School after discovering suspected oral English answers on the device. And my colleague Obed Kingaglu, who was at this particular center, who's been going around the centers as WASI, begins with its written version today. Obed, good morning to you. Walk us through what you saw this particular center and going around what you've gathered.
Right, so Lily Mohammed, this morning a team from WAEC has been touring some examination centers to monitor the ongoing WASI exam led by the head here in Ghana, Dr. Rosemond Wilson, and also, of course, the public affairs manager for WAEC, John Kapi. Now, we started the exercise from the Forces Senior High School, Burma Camp, where this incident happened. And so we went there trying to find out what's going on. And then when we were about to leave, one of the team members from WAEC approached an invigilator who was having his mobile phone. Now, according to WAEC, no invigilator, even a supervisor, must have a mobile phone in the exam hall or even around the exam hall.
How then were they communicating with these invigilators during the exam?
So usually they have the somebody at the security post.
Okay.
So if anybody is entering the school, they will have to communicate with that person and then the supervisor, but not an invigilator. There are invigilators and then there's a supervisor. So they approached this invigilator who happens to be a visual arts tutor in the school.
Of this particular school?
Yes,
okay.
of Forces Senior High School in Burma Camp with the phone in the exam hall. And so they sought to find out why he had a phone in the exam hall. And then when they interrogated him, they realized that there were some solved questions of oral English.
But they wrote oral English a while ago, about a week or two ago.
Yes. And also sculpture.
Okay.
So there may be more. That's what they saw before they seized the phone.
But what are they writing today?
They're writing social studies.
Okay.
But the point is, YS says that there should be no mobile phone in the exam hall in the first place, irrespective of what material was found. And so they've seized the phone from the said invigilator and they've invited him for questioning. And so that's what happened at the Forces Senior High School. But apart from Forces Senior High School, the team also went to other examination centers, Accra High, and also the Sechi exam hall at Cantonment, where some private schools were also writing. We spoke to the head of WAEC here in Ghana, Dr. Rosamond Wilson, about the incident that happened at Forces Senior High School, and this is what she had to say.
Yes, one invigilator was in possession of a mobile phone, and the invigilators are not supposed to take mobile phones to the examination hall. So we have taken the matter up and we'll deal with it. Mobile phone had a write-up of, it had some of our questions for the previous exams they have written, like picture making, English orals. It had some of those questions on it and also answers to the questions on it.
So that's Rosamond there. But the issue of exam malpractice and even invigilators involved in malpractice, how prevalent is it? Did you engage WAEC?
Yes, so last week BEC results were released and over 1,000 people and papers were cancelled. And so we sought to find out from WAEC why that rate of exam malpractice. And they say that they are doing their part, but the situation keeps worsening. And so they are urging invigilators and tutors in various schools to ensure that examination malpractice reduces. Earlier also, NUCS raised concerns about the fact that examination malpractice, when they are found out, the student body is not involved in terms of the investigation. And so they are calling on WAEC to ensure that there is student representation in terms of investigating examination malpractices. And so that's been the situation. They are also urging invigilators of this WASI to ensure that the incident that happened today will not occur again.
All right. Thank you very much. So tomorrow you go around again. How many more days do we have till the end of this
So
WASI?
for WASI, it's not like BEC. The papers are written as and when.
Okay.
And so it may not be tomorrow. Some other time, another paper will be written.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's Obed Kingaglu there. Now, he mentioned to you that the National Union of Ghana Students is demanding immediate reforms on how decisions are made concerning national examinations. The union, which is officially recognized body for all Ghanaian students, is raising alarm over the lack of student voices on critical bodies such as WAEC Awards and Examiners Appointments Committee and the WAEC Investigative Committee, which probes allegations of examination malpractice. NUGS argues that the absence of student representatives undermines the credibility and inclusiveness of decisions made by WAEC. The union is therefore demanding the immediate inclusion of students on the WAEC Awards and Examiners Appointments Committee, the appointment of student representatives to the WAEC Investigative Committee, and the creation of a structured permanent framework for student participation in all examination-related decision-making. President of NUGS, Daniel Kwali-Botchi, spoke to my colleague Obed Kingaglu earlier.
I must admit, this year's BEC results process is an improvement in that WAEC this time around has given a specific timeline to which they are going to release the withheld results. And if you look at the timeline as against the deadline for reopening, it gives ample time for affected students to be able to be enrolled into school. What we are saying is that these decisions, when they are being made, there should be a student rep at the table. And then even more so, the investigations to be carried out, there must be a student rep on all the committees, because, you cannot just go and then bring any report that we have carried out the report, investigations, and we have cancelled all these other results and this and that, and based on our investigations. How do we accept, how do we know that these investigations were carried out truly and fairly? These students were given a fair hearing and everything.
Right.
We must have a student rep at the table.
Now, former Vice President and 2024 presidential candidate of the NPP, Dr. Mohammed Bawumia, has condemned what he describes as tribal and religious propaganda being directed at him by fellow flag bearer aspirants of the party's 2026 primaries. Addressing party faithful on Sunday, August 24, Dr. Bawumia expressed concern over the trajectory of internal campaign tactics, warning that such strategies not only lack substance but also risk deepening divisions within the party.
As we prepare to go into the primaries, I'm very, very concerned and troubled that some of our presidential aspirants have embarked on a religious and tribal bigotry and propaganda against me in a desperate attempt to win votes. They totally ignore all the data and findings about why we lost the 2024 elections and want to mislead the delegates and the party with such propaganda. One such issue that has come up, and I think it's important for all of us to know, is the Mamprosi-Kusasi conflict. An aspirant has said that delegates should not vote for me because I am a Mamprosi man, and that we will lose votes in the Kusasi areas and other areas. This is very unfortunate and demonstrates a complete lack of understanding of the situation on the ground.
Now, Chief of Staff Julius Deborah has appealed to voters in the Akwetia constituency to support the NDC's parliamentary candidates Bernard Widiakubedu Esquire in the upcoming September 2 by-election. According to him, electing the NDC candidates will ensure Akwetia benefits directly from the government's development agenda, since the candidate will have access to the president and other top officials to bring developmental projects. He made these remarks during a campaign tour of the Akwetia constituency ahead of the September 2 by-election.
It's truly said, it's a classic affair. It's also mo you and you. Now, would there be so and yet there be? Maybe the Mura politics, my dear main person, and Mr. Sebio, who had to sign him for Titi. Now, would you know when you know what can you maybe say by Sebio or to by all that? It's when you walk home, I didn't own yet. So, yes, sir. Now, and I will send. And see a buy a tear for one of me brave. And can come up in a man in somewhere okay. A fast school, some school someday, only up. And see, Major Medley say, your best friend, a crown one. Your best friend, now, my baby, I have bear me and Sabi. Now, you know, be she because I won't cry. Sabio. Jubilee House, no, and yet, you won't 20 and the Mohammed Aroma, a Mohammed. Now, in some way, I can, a big Kutia also, I'm a Ochina 70, will be better when not say to Abamamia. Then, yes, sir, Felbin or Dodi, they more someone or person or someone, and no, yes, I did.
Still in the eastern region, the police command in that area has arrested 10 suspects and retrieved 9 weapons, including 8 pump-action guns, and separate operations at Akwetia ahead of the by-election. The arrests were made at various snap checkpoints, with suspects found in possession of guns and live cartridges. Among them was a Chinese national and several others who admitted ownership of firearms. Police say the suspects are in custody assisting investigations, while efforts are underway to arrest others linked to the seized weapons. The command has assured the public of intensifying security operations to maintain law and order before, during, and after the by-election. Now, the race for the Tamale Central seat is heated as 12 aspirants have stepped forward as the NDC prepares to defend its stronghold in the upcoming by-election following the unfortunate demise of Dr. Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed in the August 6 helicopter crash. Now, nominations for the party parliamentary primaries in the Tamale Central constituency have officially closed on Sunday, setting the stage for a keen internal contest. However, one of the leading contenders and a national vice chair of the NDC, lawyer Abdul Rauf, has withdrawn from the race, reducing the number to 13. Anod Mashood is the Northern Regional Director of Elections and IT. Now, Dr. Mashood, thank you very much for joining us. Good morning to you. The number of contenders eyeing this...
Hello, good morning.
The number of contenders eyeing this is 12. What do you think, from where you sit, is accounting for the keen interest in this constituency?
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to your cherished viewers. It is indeed true that the number... 14 people picked their forms, but we are hearing that 2 people have decided to discontinue the process. This simply signifies that approval by the general public that NDC is on the right track and NDC is doing everything possible to ensure the socio-economic transformation of the people of Northern Ghana, especially Tamale Central. And taking into cognizance the fact that Honorable Murtala has demonstrated leadership and he has been able to contribute immensely to the development of the people of Northern Ghana, especially Tamale Central. And it is not surprising that people are taking a cue to emulate his good works and want to step into his shoes. So this is an approval of the legacy that Honorable Murtala Mohammed has left, and then to also consolidate the gains that the NDC is making. So this is not surprising at all, because people will want to associate themselves with the good policies and the progress that is being made by the government.
Now, what specific measures is the party putting in place to prevent allegations of bias and vote buying?
Yeah, thank you so much. The NDC is a law-abiding party, and NDC has always resolved that the will of the people needs to be respected. And due to this fact, we've already given some kind of orientation to all the aspirants to be guided by their utterances and then ensure that the will of the people is respected. So we are not envisaging any vote buying among the aspirants, no, because as we speak now, we have almost close to 1,555 delegates who among them can be able to buy all of these people. And we think that the people of Tamale Central, especially the delegates, will make well-informed decision and choose a candidate who can step into the shoes of Honorable Murtala and demonstrate leadership beyond what he did, so that together we can continue to consolidate the gains of the NDC. So we are not seeing anything that has to do with vote buying. They are guided by the way they speak to each other, the way they do their campaign. They are guided by that. We've already given them orientation, and we are ensuring that there will be free and fair election come 7th September.
Now, let's talk about the number again. Many critics say that the high number could create issues of division even before the primaries and after, which could endanger the party's chances even going into another election in 2028.
From where we sit, analyzing it, it is actually something that is good for the party, in that when division is sharply divided, when there's sharp division among 2 or 3 candidates, that's where we will have serious challenges. So the number will bring about saturation. So there will be less tension when it comes to the euphoria surrounding elections in Tamale Central. So in our way, we believe that the fact that the number has increased, it means that at least everybody will take a chunk of the delegates. And by so doing, we don't anticipate any pressure or violence that will come as a result of this. But it is usually very, very serious when the competition is between two people. But in this case, at least we have about 12 people who are contesting. So definitely it's going to saturate the pressure that characterizes elections. So in our view and opinion, this is good for democracy. This will lessen the pressure that elections are always noted for. So in our view, I think that this will not be anything that will bring about violence.
But what concrete steps will the regional secretariat and the party at large take to reconcile losing aspirants after the by-election, after the primaries, yes, and even the by-election, so they do not undermine the party's candidate?
Thank you so much. Like we said, during the picking of the form, we took the aspirants through orientation, and we made them to understand that there's always life after the contest. So all of them are going to rally behind the winning candidate to ensure that we solidify our gains and also present ourselves as a united front. As we speak, we are in a common platform, and then we are talking to everyone, and everyone is going along with the guidelines that has been set by the party. After this particular primaries, every candidate will rally behind the winning candidate to ensure we go into the 30th September election and become victorious to consolidate the gains of Honorable Murtala Mohammed. So rest assured, there's not going to be division after this particular election, because usually what characterizes division is the fact that people will have sentiments about how elections are conducted. But we are out there to ensure that we have a free, fair, and credible election that will be done to the admiration of all the aspirants. So once every aspirant understands that the election is free and fair, and everybody will be satisfied with the outcome of the results.
Now, we know that 2 persons have withdrawn. Is that the case from this race? It was initially 14 aspirants. Now it has been whittled down to 12.
Yes, officially we can't speak to that, because if you look at the processes, it started with picking up nomination forms, and then you submit your nomination forms, which is supposed to be done on the 28th of August. Afterwards, then we'll invite them for, vetting. It is after this vetting, if a candidate decides to withdraw, that's where we can speak to it. But for now, there has not been any official communication to us regarding any other interested party who has decided to. We have given out 14 nomination forms, and on 28th, we expect that those who are interested to continue the process will come and submit the process. We are anticipating that maybe more people may like to discontinue the process. But where we say technically we cannot refer to it as withdrawal, because they've not even submitted their forms for us to assess and vet them and give them the green light to proceed with the other process. So where we say officially we cannot speak to it, we can only speak to those who have been able to submit their forms. Once after 28th of August, the number that have adhered to the processes by submitting their forms with the right document, we can now pick it up and then process the remaining, conduct the remaining processes.
So for now, how many do you have?
So for now, 14 people picked the nomination forms, but filing will be done on the 28th.
Okay.
So it is after 28th that we can be able to confirm those who are still interested.
Okay. Mr. Mashood, thank you very much. That's Arnold Mashood. He's the Northern Regional Director of Elections and IT for the NDC. Now, a while ago, I mentioned to you that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has condemned what he terms tribal and religious propaganda being peddled around by his fellow contenders of the NPP presidential race. And we've been finding out what your thoughts are on this particular propaganda on social media, and Nanama Akwa joins me with those thoughts and comments. Nanama, what are people saying with regards to this?
Well, Lily, we posted on Facebook and we had quite a number of comments. I mean, this is such a sensitive topic, but here is what you had to say. When we go to Ishmael, so we should come to your defense. Karma never misses address. Live with it and zip up. We have Jemfi, you're right to raise the analogy. DMB may have won his region, but a deeper look at numbers tells us a more troubling story. When we compare his percentage to what Nana Addo secured from the same region, the gap, he says, is glaring. It's not just a statistical. Let me take that again. It's not just a statistical anomaly. It's a signal that something went fundamentally wrong with the team we selected. Nanayao says, I wish I can post on his own video here what he said about Zongos and Voltarians. Is that gospel music? He's asking. Then we have Ohimaya. Don't mind them. Delegates are discerning and we will make the right choice. Bawumia is the future, she says, and the future is Bawumia. Hashtag Bawumia is coming. Helen adds and just simply says, just do your clean campaign. We also have Ransford, who says there is war in the camp. Then we have Abu Bakari. Dr. Bawumia, you don't know NPP yet. Since 1992, that's their agenda. We also have Yakubu. That's what you taught them, and it's coming back to you. A dose, he says, of your own medicine. Richard said it's very sad, but our love for you can never change. We also have George in-house and Pubi this. And our last comment is Yakin. Then you don't know the history of your party. NPP, it forms based on religious and tribalism, so there is nothing new. Well, this is what you had to tell us. Continue to send us your messages on Instagram, Facebook, and on X. My name is Nanama Akwa. Interesting days ahead. Lily, back over to you.
Definitely interesting days ahead. Now, the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayine, has expressed deep concern over the high attrition rates within the Attorney General's department, warning that it threatens the efficiency of the judiciary.
In justice delivery, the legal service plays a pivotal role in the governance and administration of legal services in the country. The board is responsible for formulating policies to guide the service, recruiting and promoting lawyers, ensuring discipline and safeguarding professional standards. The Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, bemoaned the high attrition rate of lawyers in his ministry and urged the board to take recruitment and retention of lawyers more seriously.
The lawyers here are very skilled, all right? I cannot doubt their competence as lawyers. They are as good as any you can find, but they are overworked. And when they see that their colleagues in the private sector, in private practice, are doing very well financially, and they are not doing well financially, as rational actors, they will drift towards the private sector. So I've had, reason to complain about the attrition rate in the Attorney General's department. We have an onerous responsibility, first of all, to try as much as possible to ensure that we recruit the best and the brightest in the legal profession to come and work for the government and the state, the Republic of Ghana. But in order to do so, we need to be able to, up our game when it comes to, salaries and remuneration. I have been making and will make a strong case to the government or to the president so that we can look at the remuneration of lawyers working at the AG's department.
Deputy Attorney General Dr. Jesse Shremsai, a member of the board, charged members to put their best foot forward to ensure they discharge their mandate effectively.
The responsibility placed on us is a huge one, and that is because the justice system, as we all know, has serious challenges. And like the AG said, the effectiveness of the justice system will depend on the work we do as legal service providers. We serve the government, but also through the government, we serve the people of Ghana. And I believe that being the persons charged with the duty to determine question of recruitment, promotion, transfer, and all the other matters that come with the running of the legal service, I believe our job is to begin with fairness and also to be able to identify places that strength is needed and provide strength, and places that wisdom is needed and provide wisdom. We can't do this without each of us being men and women of integrity and also courage.
The 8-member board of directors sworn in by a justice of the High Court, Justice Afi Agbanu Kudamo, had the Attorney General as the board chair, with Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Sremsai and the Solicitor General Ellen Akpene Awuziu as members. The others include Justice of the Superior Court of Judicature nominated by the Chief Justice, Justice Ivory Lovelace Johnson, the Chair of the Public Services Commission, Michael Nana Yao Aduhene Edu Dakun, a representative of the Ghana Bar Association, Kweku Jeu Bafwo, and 2 other persons appointed by the President, Michael Damwa and Rosalind Awovi Kudwaji.
Now, did you know that close to 10,000 stolen vehicles arrive in Ghana annually? Well, this was revealed by the head of legal and prosecution at the Economic and Organized Crime Office, Leo Anthony Siama, in an exclusive interview in GH Today. On the back of this, EOCO is cautioning the general public to conduct due diligence before acquiring any vehicle, adding that under Section 147 of Act 29 of the Criminal Code, buyers risk being charged with dishonestly receiving a vehicle if they fail to take the necessary precautions.
Officially, somewhere in 2022, we had a mutual legal assistance request from our partners. You know, we are in a transnational world now, and we rely on our partners investigatively, collaboration, in terms of collaboration and information sharing and so on. So as part of these issues, we had a request for the recovery of some stolen vehicles. We were initially given a database of about 300 vehicles. And these were vehicles that were traced to the shores of West Africa, particularly Ghana and Nigeria. We embarked on an exercise to try and recover some of these vehicles. The operation lasted for a couple of days, and we were able to retrieve just over 60 vehicles thereabout during the operation itself. And cumulatively, I think we've just crossed 100, or if not around that figure, between 80 and 100. The initial operation targeted about 300 vehicles.
Okay.
And then we're able to recover close to 66. Okay. Now, the issue we found out during this operation was that there were certain vehicles we also recovered during the operation that did not form part of the original 300 list, but also had the status as stolen. So it drew our attention to a much bigger picture. What we noticed was that when we traced these assets, particularly vehicles, and we tried to check the PIN number or the VIN number of these vehicles, it turns out to be stolen. And most of these vehicles that we have taken from high-profile individuals that we have investigated in the past turned up not to even be on the original 300 list that we have. So it immediately tells us that there's a bigger issue confronting us than we thought. It is estimated that at least close to 9,000, 10,000 stolen vehicles arrive in Ghana annually.
Moving on, residents of Boy in the Ghana East Municipality are appealing to the Inspector General of Police to intervene and clamp down on the activities of land guards in the area to safeguard peaceful coexistence. According to the leadership of the Boy Residents Association, residents are living in constant fear due to persistent harassment from individuals who use unlawful means to claim ownership of lands.
Here in Boy, a suburb in the Ghana East Municipality, residents say they live in fear due to the constant harassment by land guards who unlawfully intimidate residents or have forced land ownership.
Omubo rasi na nkwala ni nyina yam yeden ehihye me nso ba akofo me ntimi nka nkwala ni nyina nhye me yam sa enti yesra last time kra podie omba be wo ye neighbor ba ko ne sekan wa ha e say yetu america ne kofa first aid box we nyina ma ye yam hyehye me de me madam na menya pressure.
We are here when they came again written on the walls again that we should remove by 21st. So again, we went to the police station the following day and then make a report. Then the police told us that, yes, they were there to seek our support. But looking at the document that he brought, the judgment that he brought, and then looking at the boy 1, 2, they realized that no, he's not on the right side.
Chairman of the Boy Residents Association is therefore calling on the law enforcement agencies, particularly the Inspector General of Police, to restrain activities of land guards.
Our call to the Ghana Police Service, especially to the IGP, is that we've submitted a petition to him regarding the harassment that the residents of Boy are getting from Inokadokwe Papo of Dream Alive Road and Construction. And we want the IGP's intervention as quickly as possible to forestall any possibility of a chaos within our community.
He further urged government through the Lands Commission and the Ghanese Municipal Assembly to act immediately to forestall threats of demolition exercise of building belonging to residents.
We also have submitted a petition to the Municipal Chief Executive, Honorable Edmond Agbo, who his office has issued a demolition permit to Inokadokwe Papo, which meant that any moment from the time he obtained that, he can come to the community and demolish our properties. We've submitted a petition to him and we have asked him to order the immediate withdrawal of that demolition permit. We are further calling on the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, asking him to also get his Lands Commission people to intervene. We don't want any chaos within the Boy community.
Residents insist that only decisive action from the police and relevant state institutions will restore peace and protect their investments as they continue to hold on to the Supreme Court ruling affirming the Boys' Tools authority over the land.
Let's now bring you the latest in business.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Now, the government of Ghana has once again missed its Treasury bills target for the third consecutive week, according to the Bank of Ghana. The latest auction was undersubscribed by nearly 10%. The Treasury received 5.817 billion in bids, but accepted 5.74 billion. The bulk of the bids came from a 91-day bill with 4.49 billion that represented almost 70% of the total. Out of this, 4.29 billion was accepted. For the 182-day bill, 1.337 billion was tendered, with 1.32 billion accepted. President John Dramani Mahama has arrived in Singapore this afternoon for a 3-day state visit aimed at strengthening bilateral cooperation, expanding trade and investment, and advancing partnerships in education, science and innovation, urban solutions, agribusiness, and digital economy. Discussions with the President of the Republic of Singapore, Tharman, and the Prime Minister, Lawrence Wong. He will also deliver the keynote address at the 8th Africa-Singapore Business Forum and headline a Ghana country-specific investment and business forum, convening public and private sector leaders to unlock new opportunities between Ghana and Singapore. Now, Ghanaian businesses have been urged to seize global and continental economic opportunities with the right preparation and documentation. Speaking at a recent industry forum, CEO of ASCIA Immigration Consultant Services, Marie Keita Metefio, noted that with proper structures, local businesses can tap into wider markets, increase exports and benefit economically from the free movement of goods and services across African borders and the international labor market.
Not just go and decided to apply for, let's say, like a visitor visa, and then you get to Canada. Okay, it doesn't work like that. So you need a work permit, and the work permit is also, it comes in like two types. So you have like the open work permit, which allows you to work for any employers in Canada, and usually it's very issued to specific people. For example, if you go to study, so your spouse comes, so that she can apply for a open work permit. And you also have the labor market impact assessment permit. So this is like a they call it a closed permit. So you could only work for the Canadian employer who hired you. So there's a process to go about it. So people don't really understand, or they just don't know that you need, first of all, an authorization, that LMIA, that you need that. So that authorization is given to the Canadian employer in Canada that allows him to hire a foreigner. And so the Ghanaian, once they have that LMIA base, then they apply for the work permit. So that's how it works. So the needs are there, there's a shortages, but there's also a process to how to go about it.
That should do for the business news. Up next is the latest sports update with Nana Ama Ajiman.
Hi there, I am Nana Ama Ajman. Now, BBNE Gold Stars have been winners of the 2025 Galka Top 4 tournament despite Accra Hearts-of-Oak victory on Kumasi Asante Kotoko. The Miners narrowly beat Hearts-of-Oak to the trophy on the head-to-head advantage per the rules of the tournament. Both teams had 7 points each at the end of the competition, but Gold Stars' victory on match day 2 of the tournament gave them a head-to-head advantage, even though Hearts-of-Oak had a superior goal difference compared to Gold Stars. Galka gives credence to head-to-head. Let's listen to both coach after the game.
Obviously, I should feel happy. Now you can see the whole team. Everybody is happy. Expecting a very good opposition from Kotoko, but unfortunately, you could see as a folk they've been playing well in this tournament. To be frank with you, and for me, all I wanted is for us to win the cup. So whatever it would take for us to do that, I never mind. So for me, I think I was calm up there whilst they were.
We respect opponents' strengths and we play to our strength. And then we plan around that. There was a lot of work on Saturday just to do walkthroughs in terms of how we will deal with their long ball situations and then anticipating for second balls and then trying to put pressing on their center backs so that they can make mistakes. I think there's still a lot to improve and we want to improve on the basic aspects where players can live up to the necessary expectations of energy, effort and performance. And I think that these are the things that we'll continue to emphasize on.
Now, Police Ladies had a troubling start to their Waffle B Women's Champions League qualifiers. The Malta Guineas Women's Premier League champions suffered a 2-1 defeat to Nigerian counterpart in their opening game of the season. Here is the head coach of Police Ladies, UC Bazigi.
We are going to continue from where we ended, and then we move on because getting to the latter part of the game, we raise up the standard, and our subsequent matches, that is where we are going to start from, and then we move on. She was in our game plan right from the beginning until she missed our trip, and then she made a follow-up the following day to join the team. So I think that already she was in our game plan. Even we prepared the final stage in Ghana before we came. She was still with the team. We lost to a good team or a good side. So at least this has been like more or less like a final game, because a match between Nigeria and Ghana is always a final match, irrespective of where we are starting from. So at least for what we have picked, we'll go to the drawing board and then we discuss it. And from there, we continue to make amends.
That is all for sports here on Newsroom. I am Nana Ama Ajiman. Back to you, Lily.
You people stole us.
Okay.
But we're still the champions. Phobia. Forever the masters.
I'm a Kotoko fan. We are mourning, so we didn't go
please,
all out.
Please.
We are mourning.
Can you imagine Kotoko? Can you compare a Fabu to Phobia? Please. Next time, you know who the real masters are. Let's do some more stories. Now, in other stories this afternoon, a renewed land dispute in the Sola Tuna Kalba district of the Savannah region has turned bloody, leaving multiple casualties and property, including a house belonging to the Member of Parliament's relatives, set ablaze. The clash, which erupted yesterday, has raised fresh concerns over the region's fragile security situation. And now, a youth leader from the area, in an interview with me, alleged that houses, including one belonging to an MP's relative, were set ablaze amid the chaos.
There's a community called Gingiri. That is where the incident happened. Someone actually bought a land. He bought a land 15 years ago. By the time he wanted to develop it, the chief of the area gave the land out to different persons. So he said, no, this is my land. Why do you give it to someone who has come from down south, went to Galamsey and got money? Now he decided to come and buy the land at an exorbitant price. Then he decided to turn the land for the person. Now he started developing the land. Now the chief of the area son decided to attack the guy. He overpowered the chief's son. Now the chief's son now went Kalba, a community called Kalba, to another chief with their, let's say, warriors or whatever, and get external force to now come into the town and attack that particular guy and then the family. So that is where the whole thing started. We now move to the other tribal communities. This chief and their people, they move to other communities to kind of destroy properties, whoever they know to be a known face or to be a person of importance in the Solatuna Kalwa constituency.
All right, let's engage a security consultant, Emmanuel Kuting. Mr. Kuting, thank you very much for joining us. Good afternoon to you. Now, this is not the first time we're seeing incidents like these in that particular area. What, in your estimation, did we miss in intelligence gathering and even our approach to calming nerves and resolving the impasse?
Well, thank you for having me, and very good afternoon to your cherished listeners and viewers alike. In fact, if you look at the historical antecedents, especially between Precious and the Bunjas, they are kind of playmates. I think when this incident happened some few years ago, some of us spoke about how government can mainstream our conflict resolution mechanisms, such that crime is treated as crime and dealt with instead of it taking a communal nature. In this very incident, you realize that an individual has acquired land for a specific purpose. And you see, we'll be talking about the menace of Galamsey. Now, Galamsey have made lands very expensive across many areas. Otherwise, they didn't even know what to do with lands. Even if you go to the northern part of Ghana now, you see that there are a lot of lands lying there, and apart from farming purposes, until the arrival of the Galamseyers. So to me, this particular incident should be treated as a crime. And our security agencies must wake up to its tasks and duties. Instead of us mainstreaming this thing in the name of ethnic or chieftaincy. So if you look at that enclave, or let's put conflict in perspective across the country, what we have realized is that many people take advantage of the politicians. And because of the political base, they hide under politics to perpetuate this crime as a cover. This is something the politicians must shy away from. But because of their base as well, more often than not, it leaves them no choice than to toe that lane. And that is why we have seen the emergence of new forms of ethnic and tribal conflict across the country. Moving forward, I think government needs, by way of legislation, as I've always called, to mainstream the institution of chieftaincy to play a complementary role with the modern state, such that some of these things can quickly be dealt with at that local level before the security agencies can come. Look at these incidents we are witnessing. It has taken a communal nature, which shouldn't have been the case because of the lack of proactiveness from our security agencies.
Thank you very much, as always, for speaking to us. That's Emmanuel Kuting. He is a security analyst. And that should bring us to the close of the bulletin. My name is Lily Mohammed. For more news updates, kindly log on to starfm.com.gh. Good afternoon to you.